as we just left off, but before we started recording, we were talking. He just did a couple nights at the Greek Theater in LA. Did you get to play in LA at all? Like have a little?
Well, at the Greek, yeah. Yeah, yeah. What do you mean? We played two shows at the Greek.
Yeah, you played two shows at
Oh, a
the
little
Greek. I'm
fun.
asking.
What
Go
you have
on,
to
have fun.
understand, yeah, when you're on tour, there's no such thing as fun. The fun is the show at night,
That is
and the
too
rest of the
bad.
time you're resting or traveling.
All
Yeah,
right.
I mean, it's not. It's a shame these concerts get in the way of your holiday, you know.
Yeah. I would tell him, schedule at least a couple days in there where I could go have a little fun.
All right.
Yeah, but if you take a day off, it costs like $10,000. You know,
Then we
every
can.
day
It
off
is.
costs $10,000 with crew and wages and hotels for all the staff and everything. So you don't have many days off.
Well, one of the things, as we get started here again, let me just start off with saying this is FM 2.0 and Press Play. I am the Don. We got Tina here. We got Paul Humphreys. Your music, you've been a part of, Paul, has been through my life. I mean, first of all, a co-writer on If You Leave, let alone, I mean, what that song has meant to so many in our generation.
Right.
And you're still playing it live, which is fantastic, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we can't seem to stop really.
Why would you?
I mean, we've reached a certain age now. I know. I mean, we keep saying, we reach a certain age. We keep saying, are we going to retire? How long are we going to keep doing this? And we just kind of say there's two sort of reasons really. I mean, we'll keep doing it if we have our health, which we all do. We're all quite healthy, and B, do people still want to come and see us? Because that's the main thing. Because we think if our audiences start to sort of dissipate and we stop selling out shows, and then that's the time to stop. But we seem to be on an upwards trajectory at the moment because every tour we put on, we play bigger places, we sell more tickets, and also our audience has become younger. I don't As we get older, our audience has become,
I was reading
which is
somewhere.
a wonderful.
I was reading somewhere that the synthesizers that you used to use back in, of course, our day, when you guys were writing the music that you were writing in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, now, because things have evolved as far as instrumentation has evolved so much, you're actually having to go buy those kinds of instruments off of eBay to recreate those sounds. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, what happened was, yeah, that's correct. I mean, what happened was we stopped the band for a while. We stopped the band for 10 years, and then in sort of the early when the early 2000s, we decided to put the band back together, and we've been doing it now for over 20 years, back again together, touring and making new records. But we realized that when we were going out on the road, that we didn't have any of the synths that we used to use, and but we don't want to use the old analog synths live because they're unreliable basically. So in order to get the original sounds back and then sample into the modern machines, we had to buy our early synths because we wanted them to sound like the records. So there was a funny moment actually when the first synth we ever bought was this tiny little Korg that Andy and I had bought on a mail order catalog when we were on Social Security, on the dole basically, and before the band started, making money, and we needed that synth because the first two albums basically that was the dominant synth, and but they're very rare, and we missed two on eBay. We didn't get them, and anyway, I spotted one on eBay. I thought I'm just going to get this. No one's going to outbid me on this, right? So I'm bidding away, and it's going up and up and up, and this guy who was bidding against just was relentless. And I finally got it. Um, I called up Andy and said, I've got the synth, I've got the synth, I've got one. He said, I just lost one. Oh my God, I was bidding against Andy.
Oh, that's fantastic.
How much did you pay for it? Can I ask?
What it was the
I don't have,
starting bid?
I don't even tell you. It was a lot of money.
That's
Oh
hilarious.
my goodness, that's a comic. That's
Uh,
fantastic. Oh, it's something I wanted to bring up. And by the way, the latest album, Bauhaus Staircase, there's so many phenomenal songs on it. And I'm going to touch on that too, because
Thank
there's some
you.
songs on there that really hit me and affect me which is so great for songs for art songwriters that have been out there for over 40 years writing. You're still writing things that hit us. I mean, you've sold, when I think of the number like 40 million records sold and the population of Canada is 39 million, that puts things in perspective. It's like
That's
every
perspective,
king in
isn't it?
Canada had your album. And then so. And but what, when you started your gig at Eric's in Liverpool, right? That was your first gig? Was it Eric's Lounge? Eric's
Yeah,
night?
yes, it was Eric's Club in Liverpool. Yeah,
And it was right across from the Cavern Club, right?
exactly, right across the road from the Cavern. Yeah.
So, did you ever imagine in your wildest dreams that from that little time, the first club in 40, what was your definition of success? I guess that's the question I ask you. When you played that club and you and Andy were talking, what was your definition of success then?
Do one concert. That was the definition of success. I mean, that's all we ever wanted to do. It was like we were like kids. We were teenagers, we just dared ourselves because you have to understand that, electronic music in the 70s was considered weird. We didn't none of our friends liked it. This is why we started as a duo, Andy and I, because we couldn't find anyone else who wanted to make that kind of music. All our friends were, all our musician friends that were into like Genesis and the Eagles and bands like that. And it's like we wanted to be Kraftwerk. We wanted to sound like the future. And all our friends thought we were nuts. So and also they thought our songs were crap. So so we
Oh,
thought
what
we were
did they
just a
think
couple of
of you
no-hopers.
now?
Well, that's another story. Yeah. but
Well,
but yeah, so it was kind of, we had no confidence. It was just like a dare to get up on stage and do one gig, which is why we chose a stupid name, really, because it didn't matter what we called ourselves. It was only ever going to be one concert,
not
which is
incredible.
kind of crazy looking back on it.
Yeah. Then what was and then I want to get into Bauhaus Staircase, of which we've played that track on our FM 2.0 station a lot. When was the moment when you realized this is bigger than we imagined? Was it being in Pretty in Pink featured there?
No, I think because, our success in America came much later than our success in Europe. Um, we were on Virgin, and we were like 20, and we had a massive hit around Europe with Enola Gay, and then Souvenir, um, and then Maid of Orleans, and we were number one all around Europe in the early 80s, where it was the mid 80s when we had success in America. So it was very early on in our career we had massive success around Europe, and so, but I mean, I think when we thought we'd finally made it was there's a TV show in England called Top of the Pops, and you saw all your heroes growing up. Everyone who was anyone was on Top of the Pops. As the TV show, as the chart show of the day, of the week. And so when we got our first slot on Top of the Pops, that was like, okay, we've kind of made it.
That's
It
fantastic.
was certainly my mum, because my mum thought I was a deadbeat, and Andy's mum, they wanted to get proper jobs, and and but when our parents saw us on Top of the Pops, it was like, okay, they're musicians now. Okay, I'll accept it now, Whereas all the way up to that point, they were like, don't you think you should get a proper job?
I have to bring up something with you, Paul. Dean Baldwin, who hosts 3 shows on Sirius XM. He's got Classic Vinyl, Deep Tracks, and Classic Rewind. He's a host on all those channels. He wanted me to ask you that I think Billy Gibbons of CC Top said that OMD was a big influence on him. Did you ever know that Billy Gibbons of CC Top's a credit?
Yes, yes, we knew this. We did a show in 1980 in England called the Old Grey Whistle Test, and it's a crazy name for a show, but they have music from all different genres on there, and you play live. And that night there was like 2 stages. It was OMD on one stage and ZZ Top on the other stage, and we just thought they were a bunch of weird rockers, because we were into this electronic music from Germany, and there was these hairy guys from America. It's like, what the hell is this? but they were such sweet guys, and they fell in love with our music. Many years later, we did notice that they started adding synthesizers to their sound. And apparently before they go on stage, they play an OMD track before they go on stage. I mean, how weird is that? But then we bumped into Billy Gibbons in a hotel in New York, and even that you know their move with the guitars, like the sharp dressed man thing. You know, he said, Billy said to Andy, "I took that move from you." He
Oh,
copied his move from stage.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, lovely guys, lovely.
I never would have
Yeah.
made that connection, Tina, ever.
I never would have either. When Dean sent that, he sent that both to, he actually wanted to be here today, and unfortunately, what got caught up in a Sirius XM thing, so couldn't make it. So he texted that to us and said, "Ask him this question. It's so important." But yeah, I wouldn't have put them together
Well, I
either.
can say it's true.
That's awesome.
When
No, an unlikely pairing.
Yeah. And on the new album, I mentioned Bauhaus Staircase, which is what we've played frequently on the station.
Yep.
But you have a song called Varushka, track
Yes.
5. And is it track 6? Varushka is so beautiful of a song.
Yeah.
And I take bands like Tears for Fears that are still going strong. Like I love Tears for Fears, and they're still going strong and writing beautiful music.
Yeah, me too.
Well, and here you got Varushka. It falls right into that whole thing of this modern day beautiful song where you have elements of the influence of the past, but it's a
I'm hugely proud of that song.
Did you write Varushka?
Yeah, I wrote it with Andy. In fact, this whole album, right, the Bauhaus Staircase album, wouldn't have existed without the pandemic, because we were quite happy to finish our recording career on Punishment to Luxury, because we really liked that record and we're very proud of it. Because as the older you get as a band, it's like you think this could be our last album. So we put so much effort into it because you don't want your last album, your last offering to be shit. So it kind of drives us forward. And so this whole album existed because I was stuck in France in the pandemic, and Andy was stuck in Liverpool. And I think I was a little less bored than Andy was. And because I was in beautiful south of France, had a swimming pool, all was good. Didn't feel like doing any work really. And Andy kept texting me saying, "I'm bored. Have you got any music? I'm bored. Have you got any music?" And he was like relentless. So fortunately, I had all my hard drives with me because we log our ideas, And I started looking through, and for the little period that I wasn't in OMD, when OMD kind of stopped, I was with a German singer called Claudia Brucken from Propaganda, and we had a band called 1-2, and we made an album that did quite well in Europe, and we were going to make a second album, and when I was in France looking, when Andy said, "Have you got any music?" I found a files that said 1-2 album 2, which never got made, and I found Barushka in there. I wrote it actually for a different band, music wise, and so I sent it to Andy. I said, "Andy, it needs new words, it needs the main tune tweaking. You need to write a whole new set of words for it and modify the chorus." And then he took it and modified it, and it was it's my favorite track on the album. I absolutely love it.
And I'm a track 1 to track whatever the final track is guy. When I listen to an album the first time, it's like reading a book. I will never understand somebody gets a record and they'll start with like track 5. I'm like, you don't understand. An artist puts things in an order, and when you get to that track it just changed the whole complexity of what I was listening to, and it made me go back and re-listen to the first 5 again.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad.
So it doesn't surprise me that you say that was your, because it hit me that way. So I love that.
Yeah, it's a really wonderful. We play it live. We're playing it live. We played it last. We've been playing it on the American tour. We have a lovely moment where the lights go down. We're all on our podiums, and the lights go down, and then we all appear at the front of the stage in a line, all with little keyboards and a drum machine, and play it all 4 of us in a line. It's a lovely moment.
Wow.
I have one question, kind of to play off of the ZZ Top question. I'm interested, Paul, and when you guys were first starting out, who were the bands that you were looking up to at that time? Like, who was influencing you?
So I think I mean, because Andy and I were kind of bored with all the music that was around. We were looking for something new and interesting, and we kind of. I think the thing was we heard Kraftwerk. They had a song called Autobahn, and it was the first one of their songs to get played on the radio. And I heard it on it was just the craziest sounding thing. It just sounded like the future. It just sounded something, it just spoke to Andy and I. And when we heard it, it was like the first day of the rest of our lives, really. I mean, we were actually playing our school band was like a kind of a prog rock band, really, kind of an indie prog rock band. But we wanted to make electronic music, and when we just discovered that, there were German bands doing it, um, we thought let's do that. Because so we discovered Kraftwerk, so in Liverpool, right, there was a record store, and it was run by Pete Burns, dead or alive, right?
Oh wow!
And and he and so we used to go in and see, because before he
I say I was
anyway,
surprised at the record store. You spin me right round.
yeah. Yeah. So Pete Burns ran the it's like an indie record shop. So he had like an import section. So we said, Pete, just get whatever you can from Germany. I want to know what's going on in Germany. So he would just import all the stuff from Germany, and there we discovered, obviously Kraftwerk and their catalog, because they'd made quite a few records before Autobahn. We didn't even realize. And then we discovered a band called La Dusseldorf and Neu, Neu. And that was the kind of the blueprint for OMD. We took our influences from them, a little bit of David Bowie, a little bit of Talking Heads, but that was it. A little bit of Velvet Underground maybe as well, and that was our influence. That was our you could put, that was all we were listening to. That was because we were just looking for something interesting, and so we were just drawing from ideas from all these people, because everyone was trying to push boundaries, and that's what we were trying to do. We were trying to push boundaries of popular music, but not for any commercial thing. It was our art. Music was our art. We were trying to create something, and by accident we became successful.
Well, yes, you did. I guess my last question, I'm sorry, Don, my last question is, this is something I ask a lot of people. What is the first piece of music you ever purchased with your own money? As a young person, you went out, you're like, I have to have this album. What was it?
It was, what's his name? Come up and see me, make me smile. What's that song? Oh, I just forgot his name. Oh God.
Come up and see me and make
But
me
you
smile.
know what? Yeah, come up and see me, make me smile. Who was the artist?
I'll find it.
I can see his face in my head. Jesus, it was a late night last night. um,
Steve Harley and Cockney.
Anyway, I mean, the thing was, I have an elder brother who's like 11 years older than me. Steve Harley, Cockney Rebel. There you go. Steve Harley, Cockney Rebel. Come up and see me. And that was the first record I bought. But I had an older brother who's like 11 years older than me. So I kind of inherited his record collection, basically. When he went off to college, he left all his records in the house. So and he was into some quite interesting music as well. So he was into Tangerine Dream and Pink Floyd and stuff. And so I used to kind of listen to all his records when he went to college.
Thanks, big brother.
Love it. Love it. Well, again, now just to tie this off here, I know you said you were basically call it almost retirement until the pandemic hit, but has this fueled you to think of another record, like your plans in the next 2 years?
I mean, this is the thing. We keep saying we're not going to make another record, but then one of us will get bored, one of us will get creative, send it to the other one, he'll get excited, and all of a sudden we've got a song, and then there'll be a second song or a third song, and then we go, well, we've got 3 songs. Should we just make an album? So I never say never anymore.
Yeah,
Because I mean, I think we'll always, and that's, I mean, the Bauhaus Staircase album is, I think there's still some really good songwriting on that record. So I don't think we've really lost it. So I think, and it was such a fun record to make, to be honest. So, what else are we going to do? I mean, I think I'm still going to make music up until the day I die. You know, I live in France. I've got a beautiful studio down there, and you know, when I get bored, I go into the studio and play around, and so things happen.
You're awesome, Paul.
Okay.
Thank you for spending just a few moments of your life with us. We truly appreciate it. And thank you for your music that's affected us too.
No
Yes,
problem.
truly. And safe travels and have fun everywhere you go.
Thank you. Thank you. We've got a bit of a day off today, so
Good.
Enjoy
you
it.
know, I don't think I'll lose all my money in the casinos. The house always wins, right, in the casino. So
Always.
I'll just have some food and watch a movie, I think.
Smart.
Yeah. Well, enjoy yourself, Paul. We will catch you later, man.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you so much.
you.
Bye-bye.
Nice talking
Nice
to
talking
you.
with you. Thank
Bye.
you so much.